the hashtags that we are always sharing. Are we setting the trend or are we just tagging along? We're living in a time of trends, but there are some critical questions that we need to start asking ourselves as we are part of this generation. Because 10 years from now, the answers to these questions will determine where we are. The hashtags that we are always sharing, are we setting the trend or are we just tagging along? When you look at your life, are you always acting or are you always reacting? Do you honestly believe that you are in charge of your life or you're just following through? Is there something about what you do that is directly linked to the purpose that you want to fulfill? Or everything that you do is based on the motions and the emotions that are going around? I think as a generation we are failing. But the problem with the way we are failing is we feel good about it. We feel like we are succeeding. We are living at a time where there is a generation, a new breed of people that can feel good about what is going around them without actually being part of the solution. It's a very interesting thing because if you think about it, if most of what we do is based on the trend, it must be important to us that those trends are being set objectively by us in line with what we want to achieve. But the problem that I have, and the question that I've been asking myself, that's why I sometimes take 2 or 3 days before I respond to some of the trend, is because do we get a chance to reflect on the trends that are going around and understand who actually is setting the trend? You see, the thing about being a fake trendsetter is it may not be visible now, but 5 to 10 years from now, we will realize that much of what we were fighting for and much of what we stood up for, we were actually not standing up for what we stand up for. We were standing up inside somebody's agenda. And it's very important that as young people, intuitive as we are careful not to be part of a bigger plot. You see, if we get back to the game of chess, about strategy, which is something that we've been speaking about for a while now, the question that we need to be asking is, whether we are a king or a pawn is not really significant. What is important is, are we inside the game or are we playing the game? Are we making the moves or are we being moved? And the answers to these questions will, in the next 5 to 10 years, determine where you stand. You see, the most dangerous part about being part of a bigger scheme of things, the so-called global world, is that initially for somebody to make you part of their plan, they probably would have had to bribe you, give you money, or put a gun in your head. But today, there is no need for that. There is a lot of causes that are going ahead with so many soldiers in the field that just thinks it's just a hashtag, without understanding that they're falling inside the trap of setting a trend that is in line with some objective that somebody else has set. There are strategists out there. There are people who sit down and think, if we want to change or swing the mood of the people towards a certain direction, this is what we need to take out. So, we are faced with a brilliant opportunity. An opportunity no other generation has ever had in life. An opportunity to influence the global scheme of things. That means well organized and well put together, we, the people, have got a chance to actually swing things towards the generation we want them to go. But the problem is, if we are not setting the trend, we are swinging things exactly where those that want things to remain as they are want them to be. And that's the interesting thing for me. If we are not playing the game, and we are part of the pieces inside the game, chances are this world is not changing. It's staying the same, but looks like it's changing. And if we really want to move this world to the right direction, we need to start getting out of the game. We need to start moving out of the sphere and have a proper, clear picture of what is going on. And if you find yourself emotionally manipulated, psychologically moved to an area where you think you're fighting a cause that you know very well that you're not fighting, it's important that you switch off. Move out of the picture and look inside and see what exactly is going on. Much easier to look at the game from the outside than to be inside the game, because then you can see not only your moves, but you can see all the moves of the pieces put together.